Ever feel like you're stuck in a financial rut, no matter how hard you try to break free? What if the habits you think are helping you might actually be holding you back? Hey there, my unstoppable wisdom seekers. Welcome to the Life Guidance Vault, the place where we dive deep into life's lessons, unlocking new paths to growth, purpose, and transformation. Whether you're here for wisdom or a fresh perspective, you've come to the right place. Today, we're tackling some game-changing money habits that could be secretly keeping you poor. And more importantly, I'll show you how to break free from them. Stick with me, and by the end of this, you'll have the tools to start making your money work for you. Habit 1. Living paycheck to paycheck. Let's dive into one of the most common money habits that keeps many people stuck. Living paycheck to paycheck. It's a cycle that traps so many of us, feeling like you can never get ahead no matter how hard you work. I used to be in this position, always waiting for the next paycheck to cover bills, with little left over for savings. Every month felt like I was running on a treadmill, putting in the effort but going nowhere. And I know I'm not the only one who's felt this way. It's not just about having a job. It's about how you manage the money you're bringing in. Living paycheck to paycheck creates a feeling of constant stress. It forces you to make choices that may not align with your long-term goals because you're simply trying to survive the month. Can you relate? Maybe you found yourself counting down the days until payday, feeling like there's never enough. Or maybe you've had to make tough decisions, choosing between needs because money feels like it's just slipping through your fingers. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. So, how do we break this cycle? The first step is understanding the importance of budgeting. I know it sounds simple, but creating a clear and realistic budget is the foundation of financial freedom. You need to know exactly where your money is going before you can start making changes. Start by tracking your expenses for a month. List every expense, even the small ones, and categorize them. Then look for areas where you can cut back. Do you really need that daily coffee or subscription service? Start small, but make those cuts. Even saving $10 a week can add up over time. Think about it. What could you cut out of your budget that would free up some extra cash to start building your savings? Think of all the things you could do with that money. Maybe an emergency fund or even a little side project you've always dreamed of. Next, automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers so that a portion of your income goes straight into a savings account as soon as your paycheck hits. This way, you pay yourself first before spending on anything else. Start with a small amount, and as you cut back on other expenses, you can increase your savings. It's about consistency, and trust me, the peace of mind knowing that you're building a cushion for yourself is worth it. If this advice resonates with you, and you're ready to take that first step toward breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle, hit that subscribe button. Join this community of growth and transformation. We're all in this together. Let's keep moving forward to habit 2. But before we do, take a moment to reflect. Imagine what life could look like if you didn't have to rely on your next paycheck. What could you do with that kind of financial freedom? Habit 2. Failing to set clear. Financial goals. Another habit that keeps people stuck in financial struggles is failing to set clear financial goals. Without a specific goal, your money can feel directionless, like you're just drifting. And when you're drifting, it's easy to find yourself somewhere you don't want to be. I remember a time when I had no clear financial goals, just an idea of what I wanted, but no real roadmap. I'd think, I want to be financially stable one day, but that was about it. But what does financially stable really mean? It's too vague to work with. Without a concrete goal, I was just reacting to life instead of actively creating the future I wanted. Think about your financial situation right now. Do you have a clear goal, or are you just trying to get by? Maybe you have some goals in mind, but they're not written down or planned out. What do you think could happen if you got really specific about your goals? The first step to breaking this habit is setting clear, achievable goals. And I mean clear. Saying you want to be rich or do better isn't enough. You need specific targets like, I want to save $5,000 in the next 12 months. I want to pay off $10,000 of debt in the next 2 years. I want to have $500 in an emergency fund by the end of this month. Write your goals down and make them as specific and measurable as possible. The clearer your goals, the easier it will be to make a plan to achieve them. Now take a moment to ask yourself, what are your financial goals? What do you want to achieve in the next month, year, or even 5 years? Have you written them down? If not, what's stopping you from getting started? Once you've set your goals, break them down into smaller, actionable steps. Instead of thinking about that huge mountain of debt or that distant financial dream, focus on the next step you need to take. Maybe it's saving a specific amount each week, paying off a particular credit card, or cutting back on unnecessary expenses. Small steps lead to big changes. One strategy that works wonders is the SMART goal framework. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. This framework can help you make sure your goals are grounded in reality and can be tracked. For example, instead of save money, a SMART goal would be save $300 by the end of this month for an emergency fund. If you've already got your goals in mind, but you're still struggling to break them down into smaller steps, hit the like button. It's a simple way to show yourself you're ready to make a change. And if you're ready to take this journey seriously, be sure to subscribe. We're creating a community where each step forward is celebrated. Ready for habit 3, let's keep going. Habit 3, ignoring the power of compound interest. Now let's talk about something that's easy to overlook, but can have a huge impact on your financial future: compound interest. Ignoring compound interest is one of the habits that can keep you stuck in a cycle of financial struggle, even if you're earning money or saving. I used to think I didn't need to worry about saving and investing early because I was still young. I'll start saving when I'm older, I'd tell myself. But what I didn't realize is that waiting meant I was missing out on the magic of compound interest. The earlier you start saving or investing, the more time your money has to grow. Let me break this down for you. Imagine you invest $1,000 today, and it grows at an average rate of 7% annually. In a year, you've earned $70. Now, the magic happens when your $1,000 plus the $70 interest continues to grow. In 5 years, that $1,000 will have turned into nearly $2,400. In 20 years, it could be more than $3,800. The longer you let your money grow, the faster it grows. Have you ever thought about the power of compound interest? Or are you one of those people who are waiting for the right time to start saving? What if today was the day you made that choice? The secret to using compound interest to your advantage is starting as early as possible, even if it's with small amounts. Don't wait until you have enough to invest. Start with whatever you can, $10, $50, $100, and let it grow. A good first step is setting up automatic transfers into a savings or investment account. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. You don't have to think about it after the first step. Whether it's a retirement account or a high-interest savings account, let compound interest work for you. If you're not sure where to start, look into low-cost index funds or a retirement account like an IRA or 401k, depending on where you live. The key is consistency. Small, regular contributions are more powerful than big, irregular contributions because you give your money time to grow. What's one financial habit you can start today to take advantage of compound interest? Can you commit to investing just a small amount, even if it feels insignificant right now? The earlier you start, the bigger the payoff will be. If you're ready to start building wealth for your future, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to keep learning how small changes today can lead to big results tomorrow. Habit 4, living beyond your means. Another key habit that can keep you stuck financially is living beyond your means. It's easy to fall into the trap of buying things we don't need with money we don't have. It might feel good in the moment, but the long-term consequences are often devastating. This is where the power of intentional spending comes into play. I once knew someone who had a great job and lived in a beautiful apartment, but they were constantly stressed about money. Why? Because they were living beyond their means. They had all the things, new gadgets, designer clothes, and fancy dinners, but couldn't make ends meet at the end of the month. What I realized is that their lifestyle was a reflection of their mindset. They felt they deserved these things right now, even though they weren't financially secure. They were caught in a cycle of instant gratification. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever bought something on impulse or used credit to keep up with others, only to feel regret later? It's a tough cycle to break, but the first step is recognizing it. If you're living beyond your means, it's time for a mindset shift. Start by tracking every penny you spend. Yes, every single cent. You can use apps to keep track or simply jot down your expenses in a notebook. The key here is to be aware of where your money is going. Next, ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this purchase going to bring me long-term happiness? Or is it just a quick fix for a deeper desire? Cutting back doesn't mean depriving yourself of joy. It means choosing experiences and purchases that bring value, rather than simply filling a void. It's about being intentional. For example, instead of buying a brand new car to keep up with others, consider whether a more modest vehicle could serve the same purpose and invest the difference for your future. Take a week to track your spending and create a budget. List your needs versus wants and see where you can make adjustments. Focus on cutting back on unnecessary items like expensive subscriptions, impulse buys, or lavish dinners. Redirect those savings into building a safety net or investing in your future. What's one thing you've been spending money on that you could cut back or eliminate entirely? How would that change your financial situation? Think about how your life could feel if you freed yourself from financial stress. If you're committed to taking control of your finances and living below your means, hit that like button. Let's keep making progress together. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how you can break free from habits that keep you stuck financially. Habit 5. Avoiding long-term financial planning. The next habit that keeps people financially stuck is avoiding long-term planning. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and neglect the big picture, but failing to plan for the future is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. I know it can feel overwhelming, especially when it seems like the future is so far away. But let me tell you, the earlier you start, the easier it is. A few years ago, I met someone who was making a decent income, but they had no retirement plan, no savings, and no idea where they would be financially in 10 years. When I asked them about their goals for the future, they told me they were just taking it one day at a time. While it's great to focus on the present, planning for the future is essential. You can't rely on luck to get you through life's unexpected moments. For example, what happens if your health changes or if the economy takes a downturn? What if you lose your job or your family situation changes? Without a solid financial plan, these events can hit you much harder. Do you have a plan for the future? Or like so many others, are you avoiding thinking about it because it feels too daunting or far away? I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what would your life look like in 10 years if you don't take action today? The key to breaking this habit is to start small. You don't need to plan out every detail of the next 30 years, but you should start thinking about where you want to be in the next 5-10 years and begin setting goals. Here are a few steps you can take. Start by saving. Even if it's just $50 a month, the earlier you start, the better. Create a savings account that's separate from your spending money and make sure a portion of your income goes into it. Each month, invest. Look into investment options that suit your risk tolerance and time horizon. The earlier you start investing, the more you'll benefit from compound interest. Retirement plan. Start contributing to a retirement account. Even if it's small at first, your future self will thank you. Create an emergency fund. Aim to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses in case life throws you a curveball. This week, take a step toward your future. Set up a savings account or open a retirement fund and commit to contributing a small, manageable amount each month. Start building a habit of planning for your future and watch how that small change creates a snowball effect over time. Reflection question. What's one financial goal you could set for the next 5 years? How would it feel to start working toward that goal today? If you're ready to start taking control of your future, hit the like button and subscribe. This journey isn't just about financial freedom, it's about creating a life you can look forward to, one that's built on purpose and planning. Let's take the next step together. Habit 6. Ignoring the power of small, consistent actions. Another habit that keeps many people financially stuck is the belief that they need to make one big, dramatic change to see results. Whether it's finding that perfect investment, landing a huge raise, or getting a windfall, many people wait for that breakthrough moment that will solve everything. The truth is, it's often the small, consistent actions over time that build the foundation for lasting financial success. I once worked with someone who was constantly searching for that one big break, the secret investment, the business idea that would make them rich overnight. But despite their efforts, they weren't seeing progress. When we talked about their daily habits, I realized they were making one major mistake. They weren't taking consistent small actions every day to improve their financial health. Then, I asked them to track their finances for just a month, every penny, every expenditure. It wasn't glamorous and it wasn't thrilling, but after just 1 month of focusing on small daily actions, they began to see patterns in their spending. That insight helped them cut back on unnecessary expenses and shift their mindset toward smarter spending and saving. The key is, small habits, when done consistently, compound over time. Just like how building muscle happens by lifting small weights every day, building financial wealth happens by making small, smart decisions every day. What small, consistent actions could you start today to improve your financial situation? Do you have a daily habit that's building wealth, even if it's in a small way? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you could do every day that would make a difference in your financial life? Breaking this habit requires shifting your focus from quick fixes to long-term consistency. Here's how. Track your spending. Start by tracking every purchase, no matter how small. You'd be surprised how quickly small purchases can add up. Once you identify areas to cut back, you can reallocate that money to savings or investments. Set small, manageable goals. Instead of aiming for a big change all at once, set small, actionable goals. For example, aim to save an additional $10, $20 a week, or cut back on one unnecessary expense each month. Automate savings and investments. One of the easiest ways to make consistent progress is to automate your savings and investments. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account or investment fund each month, no matter how small. Continue learning. Dedicate time each day to learn something new about personal finance. It doesn't have to be hours. Just 10-20 minutes a day can add up to a huge knowledge base over time. This week, pick one small financial habit to focus on. It could be tracking your spending for a week or setting up an automatic transfer to your savings. The key is consistency. Small steps every single day. What's a small, consistent action you could take every day or week that would put you in a better financial position? What might that look like for you? If this resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe. We're all about creating momentum and consistency because together, we're building the habits that will change our lives. Let's take this journey one small step at a time. Habit 7. Overestimating how much we control. A common trap many people fall into is the belief that they can control every aspect of their financial future. While it's true that making smart decisions and taking the right actions can influence outcomes, there are always variables outside our control, like economic shifts, market changes, or unforeseen life events. We often fall into the trap of thinking that if we make all the right decisions, everything will work out. But the reality is that life is unpredictable, and there are always going to be things beyond our control. Whether it's a sudden health issue, a global financial crisis, or just an unexpected expense, no one is truly immune to life's uncertainties. A few years ago, a close friend of mine invested in a promising startup. They did their homework, believed in the company's vision, and thought they were making a sound financial decision. But despite all their research, the startup failed. It was heartbreaking because they had put in a significant amount of their savings, but it was also a valuable lesson in understanding that we can't control everything. After the setback, they took some time to reflect and rebuild. What they learned was that no matter how much we try to control, there will always be some unpredictability. Instead of being discouraged, they focused on what they could control, making smarter decisions moving forward and diversifying their investments. Have you ever experienced a financial setback that was completely outside of your control? How did you bounce back from it? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you dealt with life's curveballs. Actionable advice. Here's how you can break the habit of overestimating control and manage your financial future more effectively. Diversify your investments. If you're putting all your money in one investment, you're gambling on its success. Spread your risk across different assets: stocks, bonds, real estate, and savings. Diversification helps protect you from losing everything if one investment fails. Build an emergency fund. Life's unpredictability is why having an emergency fund is so important. Aim to save enough to cover at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This buffer gives you peace of mind, knowing that if something unexpected happens, you're prepared. Stay adaptable. Understand that your financial plan might need adjustments along the way. The key is to stay flexible and willing to adapt to changes as they come. Accept the uncertainty. Life is full of uncertainty, and learning to embrace that uncertainty is key to maintaining your financial well-being. It's not about avoiding risk completely, but rather about managing it in a way that doesn't overwhelm you. This week, think about one area where you're trying to control too much. It could be your investment strategy, career path, or savings plan. Ask yourself, how can you reduce the pressure of trying to control everything and focus on the things that are within your power to influence? What's something in your financial life you're trying to control too much? How can you let go of some of that control and focus on building a more balanced approach? If this was helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Let's learn together how to handle the unpredictable nature of life with wisdom and confidence. Habit 8. Avoiding risk. Because of fear, the fear of losing money is one of the biggest reasons people avoid taking risks, but this habit can actually prevent them from growing their wealth. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel discusses how the fear of risk can paralyze us, causing us to miss out on opportunities that could lead to great rewards. Risk is an inherent part of financial life, and while it can be scary, avoiding it entirely is often more harmful than facing it. We've all heard the phrase "no risk, no reward," but it's important to remember that not all risks are equal. Some risks, if managed properly, can lead to substantial growth. A few years ago, I had a chance to invest in a small, emerging tech company. On paper, it looked like a risky bet. There were a lot of unknowns, and the company had a small market share. However, after doing thorough research and understanding the potential upside, I decided to take the plunge. While I was nervous at first, the risk paid off. That investment grew significantly over time. But it wasn't just luck. It was a calculated risk, one where I weighed the potential loss against the possible gain and made a decision based on my comfort level and financial goals. Have you ever avoided an investment or opportunity out of fear? What was the outcome? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. Here's how you can overcome the fear of risk and start taking smarter, calculated risks in your financial life. Understand your risk tolerance. Before making any investment or decision, take time to assess how much risk you are comfortable with. Different people have different levels of comfort when it comes to risk, and that's okay. Knowing your personal risk tolerance helps you make better decisions aligned with your goals. Start small. If you're hesitant about diving into something new, start with smaller, less risky investments. For example, you can invest in low-cost index funds to dip your toes into the stock market without taking on too much risk. As you become more comfortable, you can gradually increase your exposure to riskier investments. Educate yourself. Fear often stems from uncertainty. The more you learn about the risks you're considering, the less fear you'll have. Knowledge is power, and when you understand the factors influencing your investments, you'll feel more confident taking calculated risks. Have a long-term view. Sometimes the fear of risk comes from wanting quick returns. However, many of the best investments require time to grow. Keep a long-term perspective and don't let short-term volatility shake your confidence. Diversify your investments. Spread your risk across multiple assets. The more diversified your portfolio is, the less likely it is that any single risk will significantly hurt you. Diversification helps to reduce the impact of a poor performing asset, giving you more stability in the long run. This week, think about an area where fear is holding you back from making a decision. whether it's investing, starting a new project, or taking a financial risk. Break down the potential risks and rewards and make an informed decision. If you're still uncertain, start small and track the results. Reflection question: what financial decisions are you avoiding because of fear? What's one small step you can take to start overcoming that fear? If you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're diving deep into how understanding our psychology with money can help us make smarter decisions and create lasting financial growth. Habit 9. The paradox of wealth. The more you have, the more you want. One of the more fascinating insights from the psychology of money is how the pursuit of wealth can sometimes work against us. As people acquire more, they often find themselves wanting even more. This is known as the paradox of wealth. The more we have, the more we desire, and this cycle can sometimes lead to dissatisfaction instead of fulfillment. Morgan Housel discusses how the quest for more can become an endless cycle. When we reach a certain point in life, we may think that accumulating more wealth will bring us happiness or fulfillment, but often it just leads to a greater desire for more. It's a reminder that true contentment doesn't come from the numbers in your bank account, but from understanding what really makes you happy. I remember a conversation with a friend who had recently sold his business for millions. He was in a great financial position, but instead of feeling satisfied, he began looking at the next big investment opportunity to grow his wealth even further. His pursuit of more had him chasing the idea of financial freedom, but he admitted that the more money he made, the less he felt content. He realized that this pursuit of more was causing stress in his life rather than bringing the fulfillment he expected. In his case, the money wasn't the problem, it was his mindset. He needed to reframe his definition of success, focusing less on accumulation and more on enjoyment and balance. Do you ever feel that you're chasing after more wealth but never really feeling satisfied? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you define true wealth. To break free from the paradox of wealth and start embracing contentment, here are a few practical tips. Reevaluate your definition of success. Are you equating success with having more money, or is it about having more time, health, relationships, and happiness? Shift your mindset towards what truly matters in life. Practice gratitude. Focus on what you already have. Start by listing things in your life that make you feel thankful: your relationships, health, accomplishments, and experiences. This will help you realize that wealth isn't just about money, but about living a rich, fulfilling life in every sense. Define your financial goals. Set financial goals that align with your values and what you truly want in life. Rather than constantly chasing more, focus on goals that bring satisfaction, like saving for a comfortable retirement or having the freedom to pursue your passions. Avoid comparison. One of the biggest reasons we fall into the cycle of wanting more is comparing ourselves to others. Social media and peer pressure can exaggerate our desire for more wealth. Focus on your own journey and remember that financial success looks different for everyone. Invest in experiences, not just things. Money can buy things, but experiences often bring more lasting happiness. Consider how you can use your wealth to create meaningful experiences for yourself and your loved ones. Whether it's traveling, learning new skills, or spending quality time with those you care about. Take some time this week to reflect on what enough means for you. What is your ideal level of financial security? What do you need to live a fulfilling life? And how can you make that a reality without getting trapped in the cycle of wanting more? What's one thing you could do today to move away from the more is better mindset? Could it be embracing what you already have, investing in experiences, or setting new goals that align with your values? If you're enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of money, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. We're about to tackle the final habits in this book, and you won't want to miss out on these transformative insights. Habit 10. The importance of taking long-term risks. One of the most profound points Morgan Housel makes in the psychology of money is that taking long-term risks, whether in investments, career, or life decisions, can often be the key to building significant wealth and success. Yet many people hesitate because of fear or the desire for short-term rewards. But the most successful individuals understand that growth and success take time, and they are willing to embrace uncertainty and take calculated risks in the long run. Housel emphasizes that wealth doesn't accumulate quickly, and many of the world's richest individuals didn't get there by taking shortcuts or trying to get rich quick. Instead, they took long-term risks, were patient, and allowed their investments or ideas to compound over time. The true value of these risks isn't always apparent immediately, but becomes evident after years, sometimes decades. I've had several conversations with people who were hesitant to take big risks, particularly in their careers. One close friend, a talented artist, spent years working a 9-to-5 job that didn't bring her much joy, yet provided a steady income. She dreamed of quitting her job and pursuing art full-time, but the fear of instability kept her from making the leap. Over time, she realized that in order to build the life she wanted, she needed to take the risk and trust that things would fall into place. She started taking art commissions on the side, building a portfolio, and networking with other artists. Eventually, her passion and hard work paid off. The risks she took, though they were scary at first, allowed her to create a business around something she loved, and she's now able to support herself as an artist. Have you ever hesitated to take a long-term risk because you feared the uncertainty? What was that experience like for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Here are a few steps to take if you want to embrace long-term risks that could pay off over time. Start small. You don't have to make massive, life-changing risks right away. Start by making small decisions that align with your long-term goals. These could be investing in your education, starting a side hustle, or investing a portion of your savings in a retirement fund or long-term investment. Understand the compounding effect. Remember that small, consistent actions can lead to significant rewards over time. Whether it's putting money into the stock market or developing a skill, the key is patience. Over time, the returns on these investments can become exponential. Don't fear setbacks. Taking long-term risks often involves failures and challenges. So along the way, that's part of the journey. Embrace these setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. Failure doesn't mean you're on the wrong path, it's simply part of the process. Be comfortable with uncertainty. One of the hardest parts of taking long-term risks is dealing with the unknown. Learn to be comfortable with uncertainty and trust the process. Understanding that growth takes time will help you stay focused and persistent when things feel uncertain. Keep your eye on the long-term vision. It's easy to get distracted by short-term results, especially when things aren't going as planned. However, keep your focus on the bigger picture. Visualize where you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years, and let that vision guide your decisions today. Choose one area of your life where you're hesitant to take a long-term risk, whether it's your finances, career, or personal growth. Create a plan to take a small risk in that area over the next month. It could be something as simple as starting a savings plan, asking for a promotion, or dedicating time each week to learn something new. What is one risk you've been avoiding that could potentially lead to long-term growth? What's holding you back from taking that risk? If you're finding these insights valuable, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. We're about to wrap up our deep dive into the psychology of money, and you won't want to miss the final lessons. As we wrap up this deep dive into the psychology of money by Morgan Housel, it's clear that the book offers a timeless perspective on how we approach wealth, risk, and decision-making. Through each of these lessons, Housel challenges us to think differently about money and success, not just in terms of financial gain, but in terms of how we live, make decisions, and shape our future. The key takeaway from this book is that personal finance is deeply personal. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's perfectly okay. The power lies in understanding your own values, fears, and goals, and crafting a strategy that aligns with your life's vision rather than following someone else's blueprint. Here are the most critical points to remember. Wealth is about behavior, not intellect. Success with money doesn't require a genius-level intellect or intricate strategies. What matters most is being disciplined, patient, and thoughtful about your choices. It's about doing the simple things right over the long haul. Risk and uncertainty are constants. In both life and money, there will always be uncertainty. Learning to embrace it and not letting fear control your decisions will help you navigate both financial and personal growth with greater ease. The power of compounding. Whether it's money, knowledge, or personal growth, compounding is a force that works in your favor if you give it time. Small actions, repeated over time, create exponential results that are often hard to see immediately. Long-term vision beats short-term thinking. The most successful individuals understand that true wealth and fulfillment often require taking risks and staying patient over a long period. Quick rewards can be tempting, but the real payoff comes with consistency and discipline. Financial independence isn't just about money. Ultimately, true wealth is about freedom, the freedom to make choices based on your values, not based on financial constraints. It's about having the space to live a life that feels fulfilling, with the ability to take risks that align with your purpose. Reading this book has certainly reshaped the way I think about money and life. It's easy to get caught up in the chase for wealth or success, but it's important to remember that the pursuit of those things should align with our deeper values and vision for life. Just like many of you, I've had moments where I felt anxious about my financial future, or questioned if I was making the right choices. But as I internalized these lessons, I realized that slowing down, being patient, and embracing the uncertainty is part of the journey. And that's something I can truly control. What's one lesson from the psychology of money that has had the most impact on you? How do you plan to apply it in your own life moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to pick up a copy of The Psychology of Money and give it a read. It's not just about personal finance, it's about creating a life that is thoughtful, intentional, and aligned with your own values. Take the time to reflect on how your mindset can shape your financial and personal future. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights from the Book Consultant on other impactful books that can change the way you think, live, and grow. And there you have it. The Psychology of Money is more than just a financial guide. It's a roadmap to living a life that's not only financially prosperous, but personally fulfilling. As always, thank you for being here. Keep growing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.